What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another episode of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. It's time for episode number 435 of the Hot Tags, where we're going to be breaking down some of the current events, rumors, news, gossip, and everything else that's going down in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days that we feel like talking about, kind of, because some things we just don't feel like talking about, some things we've talked about a lot. And it's just, it's a lot to take in. And we're also live, so we don't know what's happening. Maybe we're not doing this correctly. Maybe we are. Hopefully we are. And hopefully you guys are tuning in either live or not. I don't know. We're doing this pretty late at night, so I'm not expecting people to be here really live. But if you are, drop something in the chat, and then we'll chat. It's kind of the point. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me, as always, is Robert DeFelice.
Hey, Tony, we are live. We are live after Raw. Do you know what that means, Tony?
What does that mean?
It must be Monday.
It must be Monday.
But it's not, because it's Tuesday, because it's 12:05.
Yeah, technically speaking, yeah, it's 12:05 in the morning, so must be Tuesday that we think that it must be Monday. We're talking about that today. We're talking about some upcoming WrestleMania stuff, but not getting too deep into our WrestleMania stuff, because obviously when it comes down to a lot of the WrestleMania things, we're not sure how some of that's going to work out, and some of the other things we want to talk about and save for the predictions, because the predictions post is coming up a little bit later on this week, so keep that in mind, everybody. And we're going to break down a couple different things though here and there. Hopefully you guys will do the same. Tell us your thoughts in the comment section below, and we will kind of keep that train rolling on here. If you are not listening to us live and you're not listening to us afterward on YouTube, and you still want to drop a comment in some fashion, then go ahead and do that on the YouTube page. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell for notifications too, because if we start doing more things that are live like this, then in the future, when we do that, you will get email alerts, and that's kind of the whole point. That not only alerts you of when we go live, but also when our videos are posted. So if you can't catch us live, then you'll be aware when it comes up later on, because we're not going to do everything live. We're just testing things out here. We're going to do some stuff. Maybe the post shows for WrestleMania, we might do those live. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. So the more people that show more support, more likely that we will do this kind of stuff. And YouTube gives you the option of leaving the comments, leaving the chat stuff. So do that. But if you're listening to us elsewhere, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Anchor, TuneIn, Podbean, 2 soup cans with a couple string tied between them, any of those kind of things, then by all means, leave us a star rating or follow us or whatever those different platforms have. But anything you guys do like that's greatly appreciated. If you are on YouTube, by the way, also hit the like button on the video. Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, hit the like button. I see we got Peter in the chat. We've got Bobby Lesnar, of course, and we've got Smart Out Moment writer, Dr. Ethan Newfield. So thank you guys for joining us. Hit the like button and sit down and enjoy the ride.
So, I think we're working pretty well. Everybody that's in the chat, nobody's mentioned anything yet about us not having audio.
Yeah, nobody said anything about that yet, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, if by some reason that is the case, then let us know. If you're listening to us well after the fact, then you'll also not be able to tell us that. I also realized that I was not recording the very beginning of this for our Anchor feed and all that stuff, so we might have a different beginning of this if it's a little bit different from some other things. We're still
there you go. We'll do it live.
Yeah,
as Bill O'Reilly would said, we'll do it live.
I'm a one-man show here on the production side, and Rob can't help me out with any of that. Not even a screen share would help out with that, but hopefully the audio sounds pretty good. We're testing that out as well. We've been doing these live chat things and stuff, and we're going to do maybe another one of them this week, depending on how crazy things are, just to test out a couple more things, because I want to make sure that WrestleMania doesn't go down in a weird way. But
it's already going down in a weird way.
Well, yeah, more than anything else. And for anybody who's curious and is not listening to us live and it's not able to go back and check out the live show or whatever like that, we're not doing this with our faces on like we've done the 2 tests that we've done, but we will potentially do more webcam type stuff too. And if you want more webcam stuff, then let us know about that. One thing I want to just jump into with the hot tags that at this point, I kind of don't want to see more of is WWE the day of blank. Because we did another one of these, as in me having any part of this, there was another section of this that was for Elimination Chamber 2020, and I feel like this served no real purpose. I didn't like this episode pretty much at all. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Well, let me tell you something, Tony. You let me worry about blank, okay?
You can't say, well, let me tell you something and not say it
and
like
not
Hulk
say
Hogan.
brother. I know. Well, I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I've seen enough of these to know par for the course. I know Liv Morgan cried. I did one on that. I did a report on that over the weekend, which it's good. She deserves to get emotional. Good for her. She made it to the main event of something. I don't like these day ofs, so I say skip.
Yeah, I say skip it too. And this whole week is going to have lots of different things that are on the WWE network that are kind of like that, but it's weird. We're in this weird time frame right now where this is normally when they would be recording a lot of things, and that's not going to be the case. They're not going to be able to do, 20 episodes of Table for 3 that they normally do during WrestleMania weekend. They're not going to be able to record WWE 24 WrestleMania 36, most likely. Isn't that strange?
I disagree with that particular show because I do think we're getting a WWE 24 day of WrestleMania 36. I think we're going to get a whole documentary on the Performance Center shows and the entire effect of the coronavirus on WWE.
I really hope that we get a lot of that stuff, but I don't know how much they've been able to actually film. You got to figure they're supposed to not have 10 people in a room. How many more extra cameramen can you afford?
You can ask the talent to record stuff on their phones and splice it in there.
Bodine in the chat, WWE Day of Reckoning 3 confirmed. We do know we have at least a couple things that are going to be airing this week for what they're still calling WrestleMania week, even though it doesn't really feel like it anymore. And obviously we will talk about these things next week or so, probably next week's hot tags, maybe not, depending on how much we get the chance to really see. But some of the things are really not all that much. Like, I'm not going to check out, for instance, they've got like Triple H's best WrestleMania matches. I don't need to watch a thing like that. I've seen the matches.
Dude, that is good. That is good background content to put on while you're trying to sleep.
Yeah. And I'm not going to go back and rewatch the Broken Skull sessions just because they're uncensored. I don't really think I desperately need to hear Austin say fuck instead of F bleep uck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm curious if this is new or not. I guess it is. 15 greatest WWE WrestleMania title matches of the last 15 years. But then again, that's another recap thing.
I dig that. Now, they're doing a lot of these, like, compilation videos. And I dig it because I like long videos because, as I said, I like to just put stuff on as I'm trying to sleep. There's a bunch of weird ones. There's like Andre's best matches, Flair's best matches, Roman Reigns' best WrestleMania matches, which I guess is all of them because how many WrestleManias has he really been in? It's good content. It's a better use of the network than Day Of.
Yeah, and for the people that are really starved for WrestleMania content, this is something that's going to be good for them too. So I don't dislike that they're doing that. It's just something that I don't think I'm going to bother watching. That applies to Shawn Michaels' best WrestleMania matches, Triple H's, Charlotte Flair's 8 most memorable matches, etc., etc. But
for Charlotte, they're doing stuff like check her out versus Nikki Bella at Night of Champions in 2015. They did a best of Ric Flair, which is funny because they ended up putting on the Rumble 92 because that's always going to be in the topic of the best thing Flair's ever done in WWE. And they had him losing the belt to Brett in 92, which is like Of all the stuff he's done in WWE, you chose to put that on a compilation of the best things he's done.
Yeah.
Lose to Bret Hart. I thought it was just a weird little note.
Would be kind of funny if they ended up like, instead of Triple H's best WrestleMania matches or something, they've just picked like Big Show's biggest losses at WrestleMania or something like that.
I wonder, like, Triple H best WrestleMania matches, are you going to show him getting squashed in 5 seconds by the Ultimate Warrior?
Right, yeah. Well, none of these really come into play for me to check out, except for the bump on Wednesday. And then Thursday, things start picking up. Because then we're going to get, and I wouldn't have anticipated this for WrestleMania week. Where are they now? Eva Marie and Snitsky. Why are those two paired up in the same episode? Why are we following Snitsky to begin with?
One likes feet and the other one has feet.
That is weird, and I'm curious now at this point to watch it. Like, I don't know what Snitsky's been up to. I assume Eva Marie's been up to modeling and looking hot.
Lots of entrepreneurship for Eva Marie. Snitsky, I think he's just been doing like the indie circuit and probably going around telling people it wasn't his fault, whatever random occurrences happen.
Yeah, that might be the case. Maybe he's out there punting babies.
You know, I wasn't. Jesus Christ, we're live. I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna go there.
It's not like this is something. It's not like this is something out of the norm. I mean, he did it. I'm not suggesting something that hasn't been done on WWE television.
This is fair.
Now, my other idea. No, just kidding. We're getting that at 10 a.m. on Thursday. At 1 p.m. on Thursday, we're getting something called WWE Dream Match Mania. And this is strange. So what they're doing is they're going to have people watch, I guess, like simulations from the whole like WWE 2K setup, because it says in video game form. I mean, they can't do anything other than that really for the most part. I don't know how they're going to get rid of all the glitches that go along with that, but I guess they're not really.
I think if you do one-on-one matches, you'll be all right.
Yeah, they're going to do, at the very least, this is the card that they're showing off. Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus.
We talked about this possibly being
for this
a WrestleMania match in general.
Yeah. John Cena versus Hulk Hogan. Makes sense.
Should have been a WrestleMania match a few years ago.
And then we got 3 that I'm like, I kind of see where you're going, but at the same time.
It started reaching.
Because we get Seth Rollins versus Ric Flair, and I'm like, I don't know if anybody really has that as some dream match for WrestleMania, is Rollins versus Flair.
I think I would have went with Rollins versus Edge. Maybe Flair. You're in a video game. Do Flair and Charlotte versus Stephanie and Vince, you know?
Or even at that point, even though it's not the same, father and daughter type thing, like Flair and Charlotte versus Seth and Becky. Where like,
right, that would have been good.
But Rollins and Flair, I see no connection point between that. I'd go Rollins Punk. I'd go Flair versus. At this point, I mean, you could go Flair versus Styles, or like a bunch of different things. I don't know, but there's also Charlotte versus Beth.
That's not really something I dream about.
No, and I feel like that's the type of thing that they're just like, well, we wanted to put Charlotte in this kind of thing. And they already did the Trish match, so really, who else is there left? And then there's Big E versus Goldberg.
Goldberg! No. Do it right.
I love Big that they went with that.
Versus Goldberg!
Because he just keeps talking about how he's like his dream match would be against Goldberg, and that's awesome that they put that in there. I saved these graphics for like future use from like, I'm writing up some Bleacher Report article down the line and I need to do like Reigns versus The Rock or something, but I'm like, I'm saving the Big E Goldberg one too. Why not?
I hope he does get the Goldberg match. Hell, I hope that he's the guy who replaces Roman.
Yeah, at this point, it's not been confirmed. We do know, and this is one of those things when it comes to like, well, what's happening with WrestleMania, if you don't want to know any spoilers, I don't know, earmuffs for a minute.
You should know by now
You
what we're about
should.
to say, I think.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple different changes. Some of them they addressed on Raw tonight. Some of them they haven't. One of them that we know is happening, that Roman Reigns is not going to be competing at WrestleMania, so they're changing that all up, and it seems like we're getting Braun Strowman against Goldberg instead. And I might write up an article diving deeper into this. I might not. We might talk about this on the predictions. But I'm worried about them turning Braun Strowman heel and feeding him to Goldberg. And I'll get more into that a little bit later.
Yep. Ding, ding, ding.
So that's something I'm not really looking all that forward to.
Surprise, there's our predictions.
Yeah, that's for the one thing at the very least. And if they surprised me and went, we're going Big E Goldberg, I'd be like, oh, this is great. Why not? But that's happening. Then we are also getting, let me bring up my list. I have too many things on my screen now that we're doing the live screen things. Thank you to all the people in the chat right now. Bobby, Ethan, Peter. I think Bodine's in here. I'm losing track of if anybody else is, and I'm losing track of that, then sorry. We also are getting WWE Untold, HBK versus Angle, which is going to be discussing their whole feud and everything that went down with that. That's happening 10 a.m. on Friday. We're getting The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Yeah. Not sure how that's going to go. I don't know if that's worth watching or not. I guess I might try to.
I know how it goes. Brock Lesnar.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know how the streak goes. I don't know about the documentary. We're getting 205 Live, etc. Saturday at 10 a.m., we're getting WWE Chronicle, Drew McIntyre.
Ugh, it's going to be one of those stupid things that just follows McIntyre.
Yeah.
I don't know where, because I don't know what they did. Maybe they follow him from the Rumble to Elimination Chamber, because what did they do after that?
Well, it says WWE Network's WWE Network cameras follow Drew McIntyre as he triumphs at WWE Royal Rumble and gets ready to challenge Brock Lesnar. So I'm assuming it's mostly just the Royal Rumble win. And actually, did they do this already? Didn't they already air this?
Maybe they aired day of the Rumble.
Maybe. I don't know. If when they air the same crap like that, it's hard to really tell the difference. Hence why I still think Chronicle, 24, all that stuff should just be called Chronicle. And it shouldn't be Chronicle Drew McIntyre. Because what if you want to chronicle more of Drew McIntyre stuff, This should be WWE Chronicle Drew McIntyre wins Royal Rumble 2019 or 2020. That's just something that bothers me. But you got Randy Orton's best WrestleMania matches. We're getting another edition of The Bump at 1 p.m. where they're going to count down things. So it's a pre-show to a pre-show. WrestleMania kickoff is starting at 6 p.m. on Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then we're getting WrestleMania at 7. And Sunday morning at 10 a.m., we're getting WWE 24 Edge, The Second Mountain. And that's, his journey back. Following the same suit for WrestleMania the next night, 6 p.m. Eastern is the kickoff for Part 2. 7 p.m. is the start of Part 2. And we'll see how all that goes. Then, that's going to give us lots of stuff to talk about on the next hot tags, unless we just quickly run them down on like our Mania talk and stuff. But Bodine's having hot and spicy noodles. I don't know if I would be able to take it. I don't take spicy things all that much.
You know what else is hot and spicy?
Curry Man?
Yeah, yes. Very much so. He also tastes great. But this must be Monday slogan. That's a little on the spicy side. I think it's regurgitating, but it's spicy to some, I'm sure.
That's their new slogan. Must be Monday. It's very
not inventive.
It's kind of like it's got an air of like disappointment to it.
Yeah.
Like
you've seen Monday.
You've seen Office Space, right?
Yeah.
Someone's got a case of the Mondays. Like that kind of thing. It's like give me that kind of vibe. It's like the commercial for it is like, it's kind of neat the way that they filmed it, where it's like Ricochet's doing a flip, and mid flip he's saying, "Oh, if I'm defying gravity, it must be Monday, like that kind of thing or something like that. But at the same time, this overwhelming feel of just must be Monday.
Must be Monday.
Before we started this, we were joking. It's like, oh, like I'm feeling a little ready to rant. Must be Monday. Ah, I'm kind of annoyed and it's midnight. Must be Monday.
Must be Monday.
I'm overworked and tired and whatever.
Must be Monday.
Must be Monday or Thursday or Friday or
Or Tuesday.
or Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday morning. That kind of stuff. I don't know what to think about this slogan going forward. It could work.
Do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's dumb. That's what I think.
You think they're gonna try to do equivalents of that for SmackDown and all that? So it's like,
the big dogs in the yard. Must be Friday.
Well, if they went with must be
Boss
Monday,
time. Must be Friday.
Well, if it's must be Monday, I would assume that they would try to do the alliteration. So it's like F something Friday. Like, fuck this Friday. Like, you know, when it comes to like NXT, like Wednesday, it'd be like, what a Wednesday, or like that kind of thing.
Oh, Jesus. Like, it's boss time. Feeling this Friday.
They have to say it with that voice too, where it's like Melissa Joan Hart from Clarissa Explains It All or something like that. Must be Monday. Womp womp.
Or Jesus Christ. Keep an eye out for this trademark. Thank God it's Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, TGIFS. Hey, shout out to Guest 5 Super Chat there. He says, so are there any mini matches that haven't changed because of the situation? McIntyre and
Brock
Lesnar, Edge and Orton, Seth and Owens, I'm assuming hasn't changed, although it seemed like they wanted to go with a stipulation.
They were going to do more with Buddy Murphy, but he wasn't cleared.
Yeah, it seems like that could have been the case, because they had him in the graphic, I think, if I remember correctly. He might have been like next to Rollins on the side. But, I mean, they've all changed just from...
I'm going to feel so sad for Buddy if this shit gets dropped.
What, the stable?
Like, hey, nobody remembers. It's been 2 months. Sorry.
I think he's worked up enough goodwill.
I hope so.
And again, it depends on how long this goes, too. If it's the type of thing that we don't get stuff back to normal by 2021, then that's not going to work out well. Yeah. Is there like a Must Be Monday equivalent for 2020 at this point? Because, I mean, I started the year January 1st, a couple of hours into it. I cut off part of my pinky and pass out. So this is...
The man literally cut off a chunk of his finger and almost passed out.
Passed out twice on January 1st. You know, however many weeks later, my dog dies. I'm like, this has been a hell of a year. So it's like,
yeah, it's been a wild 2020 already, and it's not even April yet.
It's insane. Yeah, April's we got another whole day until it's April.
And then we're gonna deal with bad April Fool's Day
must
jokes.
Be March.
Must be April.
No, April Fools means maybe when it gets to like tomorrow, it's all gonna be that this whole thing was a joke, like this big setup for an April Fool's thing, and like tomorrow afternoon or something, I'm gonna end up waking up if I go to sleep, and everybody's just gonna be like, "Oh, did you hear the good April Fool's joke? They got us," you know, like that kind of thing. And then I'll be like, "Oh, this is fantastic. Everything's good." And like, there's rainbows and sunshine and sunshine, lollipops and rainbows. Everything. Probably demonetized at this point, but I don't care.
Well, Tony, we've got Guest 5. We've got Bobby Lesnar. We got Peter and we got Frankie. Are we just gonna end up doing an impromptu mailbag?
We might. I don't know. It kind of depends. We will do the mailbag. Actually, let's put it out there right now. This live stream stuff has been working out well enough. I think that we should do the mailbag for Q2 as a live show.
All right.
I think that we might do that. So that was originally scheduled to be, who knows? Because so much is going on with WrestleMania. I don't know when we'll get a chance to do it. And now Now it's at a point where it's like, please give us
Yeah,
more
we need
ideas,
content.
You know what? I'll plug this while we're at it. Toss a little transition with plugs. I'm writing down some notes for the next couple of weeks, and depending on how everything goes down, we've got the Smark Madness tournament that's going on right now. And tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, whenever it is, I'm going to switch us over to the finals. And it's going to be either Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns against either John Cena or CM Punk in the final. So vote for round 4 if you haven't done that already. Round 4 is coming up, and you'll be able to vote the rest of this week for round 5. And next week, my game plan was to do the Smark Madness tournament recap. We might do that and some other stuff because the Big Show comes out April 6th.
Oh, and the Netflix movie comes out on the 10th.
The main
We've
event.
got to watch it.
So
we have to watch it together.
We might do the Big Show in some kind of recap form. I don't know what yet. I'm considering doing what I've done before with the Netflix like Daredevil and everything series, where what I've done was I've binged the show and I've given my live updates on thoughts throughout the whole thing. And it might be like, I would watch like Luke Cage and my notes would be something like, oh man, that Chinese food looks real good. And then by like 2 episodes later, it's like, by the way, I ordered Chinese. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's like, I would watch it at 3 a.m. and by the time it's over, it's, 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something. So those were not great days when it came to sleep, but, we might do something with the Big Show. I might do like that. And then we might do like a review of the whole show after watching these episodes. If I can get through it, cause I'll tell you right now, these trailers, oof.
Everywhere you look.
Oof. I don't know the last time that I saw a thing like that and went, oh wow, this is not for me. As badly for something that's supposed to be for me,
Well, the Big Show seems very 1992 sitcom.
Yeah.
The main event.
The main event
looks fun.
That
Baba is big. Seth Carr is not. So that's gonna be fun.
Well, the main event, I'm thinking that might be something that could be good to do as either like a live watch along if we could figure it out, or instead of doing a live watch along, because that might be harder to do with like trying to figure out the live stream that goes along with it. Instead, what might work, and it's not quite as fun because we couldn't get everybody else involved, but we might just do a live fan tracks, fan announce table, whichever one we would equate it to, and not do it live. Say like if you and I and Callum were all watching it at the same time, that none of us would have watched it first. So it would be like our immediate reactions while watching it the first time. I haven't tried to do that. Everything with fan tracks and fan announce table are things that we've seen before. So it's like, oh, I remember that this scene is whatever, like that. We might do that for the main event. That way we might be like, well, what the hell's happening with this kid? Or like, you know what I mean? Like that might be kind of fun.
He's a spaghetti kid, first of all. And Babatunde is so big.
Other people aren't.
And other people just aren't.
So after WrestleMania, after I've written up 100,000 articles and I'm completely brain dead and all that, we might watch the Big Show and do something with that. We might do something with the main event. We might do both of those things and the Smark Madness tournament recap. And then after that, we might do the mailbag. It's kind of up in the air what we're going to actually have to talk about from WWE. And if we have less to talk about, we're going to try to fill it in with more other things. So stay tuned for those kind of things. I have a question that I had written down in my notes, and I don't remember why I wrote this down, but it's in a different color on my notes, so it's definitely not something that should have been in a hot tag. But I guess it's just a question to ask you, and I've gone through enough in my brain that I don't remember the question for it, but it's, would you eat a cereal called Rey Mysterio's? I don't know the context to that, but I guess I should just ask you.
I'm guessing there would have to be like some kind of cinnamon kind of churro flavor kind of going on. Like, what does Rey Mysterio's taste like?
I don't know. Good lucha things?
Good lucha, you know.
That's more of a Kalisto thing, but would you eat
You know,
Kalistos?
I don't know. Well, if you give me a box of Rey Mysterios and Kalistos, I'm gonna search for the Lince Dorados. But you know, I think I'd eat Mysterios.
Who's that eating lots of bowls?
REY Mysterios.
Honey Nut Mysterios, Multi-Grain
uh,
Mysterios. He likes to dress up as different things, or like WrestleMania and stuff. Maybe this time, no, he can't. He's in quarantine. Oh,
yeah. Oh.
there goes that. Well, I don't think that he can do something in that way. But if he jumps in on Skype and he's got some Rey
Well,
Mysterio's
Peter's
honeybee
bringing up
thing,
Nacho Libre. Would you eat Nachos Libre?
I have never seen Lancho Libre.
It's okay.
I'm not a big fan of Jack Black being all like "Shimada Yeehaw," you know, like kind of thing.
That's more Adam Sandler, but yeah.
Oh, it's totally what's his name? Because Adam Sandler would be like, we're like shubida doo. They're both ridiculous, so it's not like it's like one of them's highbrow and the other one isn't. But oh, Bobby had brought up the idea of us doing the fantasy league thing. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in trying to figure something out with that too, especially if we can figure out a way to do that. Because if they're not wrestling, we can't really do a fantasy league. But maybe in the meantime, we can figure out how that would work and stuff. So.
WWE's doing a fantasy league. Have you been watching the shows? That's a pretty big fantasy we got going on there.
What else are my notes here that we got going on? WWE. Okay, so the fact that this is a good little transition here. We don't know if we're getting matches. We don't know if they're going to be able to actually record anything. So we don't know if we would get a fantasy league going up and running and all that. They don't know if they're going to record. And what they also don't know is how to go about doing these shows in a way that people enjoy more. But they did put out something on the Fan Council, which I've tried to be a part of multiple times. I keep sending them in my little, request form, and I never get approved. But their more recent Fan Council survey was asking if people were interested in using this webcam footage stuff. And there's no videos of it, so it's hard to see like what that actually would end up being, but there's maybe about like a dozen people's screens all surrounding like the matches in the center of the screen, kind of like a big group chat, like a Google Hangouts type thing. And I can see that Evan Mack and Matt Camp from The Bump are in this big group of people. So I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that all the people that they're using for this test footage are all WWE employees. They probably all work in the office, and they probably were told like, hey, can you watch a match? Give us your reactions, and we'll sync that all up and do some kind of things like that. Or maybe they did some kind of a group chat thing or something. I don't know. But they're asking people if they would be interested in seeing these added to these no event shows. And I don't know how to feel about that. I think that it's worth asking people and seeing if it works, but I don't think that would end up working out all that well.
I think it's better than silence.
It kind of depends on how much you can hear. If there's a lot of people and it's a lot of just like, oh man, that was great and all that, then that's great. But if you get like Evan Mack going like, he's the GOAT over and over again, and I'm going to be like, all right, now I'm just watching, like a fan track type thing, and it's not the same,
I think anything is worth a shot. I definitely think they should be employees, because somebody will be, banned if they don't just stick to employees. And
somebody will whip their dick out or something. Yeah,
totally.
I mean, it'd be tempting not to at that
point. Some chick will get on screen and flash her tits. Sorry, probably demonetized again. I apologize, Tony.
No, I mean, people would be cursing. People would be, even this too. Would they tell them that they have to act like everything is the best thing ever? Because I'm sure WWE would not want people to actually have their full reactions if the reactions were like, oh, he botched that. That sucked. Boo. You go to an arena, you're going to get people that are going to boo. And you're going to get weird chants. And you're going to get lack of a reaction for certain things. And if they tell WWE employees and they're like, you got to act like everything's amazing and have that kind of spirit that like they injected with Michael Cole, where, it's kind of that, like, for the first time ever,
Oh my!
WWE, whatever, like, this is the best, and oh my, and all this, and it was an electric night here, whatever, everything's just the best thing ever, even if I don't even fucking believe it. Like that footage that leaked where he's just like, do I really gotta say this every time, Vince? They know what I'm talking
They're really
about.
gonna fuck this app boss, like.
All right, sir. All right. And then he cuts the commercial and it comes back and he's just kind of like, this is amazing, isn't it? Like, if they do that kind of a thing, people are going to just be more annoyed than anything, because then they're going to have this corporate beat you down type of rhetoric. And that's not what people want to hear. People want to hear a live crowd, and they can't hear the live crowd because you can't get that going on. But I brought it up before. I was like, maybe there's some kind of way to get some kind of a Skype thing going on. Maybe you can have some kind of group chat things where it's like you can pipe in the sound of a bunch of people on a big Periscope type thing. And if you get enough people, it can drown out whatever weird things people are saying. And you don't need to see their faces, too. That's another thing.
Yeah, I would cringe. The only really cringy thing to me about it would be a Skype group chant of "This is awesome." That'd be really fun. Yeah, that'd be really, really weird.
I'm willing to try it for an episode. If they're
Yeah, I
going to
would
put
be
that
too.
on for... You know what they really should try it for? 205 Live.
Yeah.
205 is pretty much just 2 matches. It's the shortest show that they have. It's only around like half an hour or so.
I don't know who watches it to this day.
Not many people do. I do, of course, but
I'm proud of you. Hey,
yeah.
hey, those cruiserweights, they need somebody.
I love that Tony Nese recently, by the way, had said, I'm getting some of the best crowd reactions I've ever had. I thought that was great. I think that it's worth trying, and if it sucks, then it sucks. They've had plenty of ideas that have sucked, and they just moved on. I mean, we used to have the Raw app where you'd pick different matches, and they'd come back from it, and they'd have to show you the poll, and we had McMahon's Millions.
Really tried to. They didn't understand what apps were.
No. Yeah, 205 Live is still alive, Peter. It's not live, so it's not 205 Live. It's 205 Alive, but it's not hanging on all that alive.
Much. But Tony, is your spirit alive?
Is what?
Is your spirit alive?
No. Let's be honest, it died a while ago. Ethan's suggested that they put in the audio clips from sitcoms, like the whole like whoa kind of thing and stuff.
Woo! Yeah. Like Otis and Mandy, and you get that like whoa.
Yeah. And you get like the Kramer reaction, like somebody makes their entrance to open up the front door, and it's just kind of like like that's Kramer. I know that guy from other episodes. But it's something that I'd be willing to check out for an episode. And if they try it and it's horrible, then they just go back to having the empty arena things, because it's not awful in some ways. I'm getting a little bit used to it. Although tonight on this episode of Raw, when they ended up having the Street Profits come out, there was a split second in my brain where, I don't know why, my brain went, oh man, they're not getting any reaction tonight. And I was just like, I completely forgot that was going on. So, yeah, kind of awkward, but I'm willing to try it. If they can try a couple different things, at the very least, even if they try 10 things and they're awful, I'm going to give them credit for trying,
This is awkward.
It'll probably be.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to a plug very quickly. Talking about the idea of trying. I'm always trying to put merchandise up on the shops. TeePublic and Redbubble don't like some of them. Sometimes they take it down. So if you are interested in the idea of having some kind of different t-shirt designs that I can try to put up there, then check it out. TeePublic and Redbubble for a Smart Out Moment, for Fanboys Anonymous, and for a Mango Tees. And if you see something that's up there that is potentially offensive and might get taken down or something like that, or some kind of copyright thing, then
grab it now.
Grab it now. You try to grab it while you can, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Tony, you regularly refer to yourself as a tease. Well, why do you do that? Why do you slander yourself in such a way?
I'm showing a little ankle.
A little ankle, Tony.
Yeah, look at them gams.
I expect more from you.
That's an old timey phrase that people should bring back. Gams. We should just
look at the gams on that one.
The gams on that gal. Hey, you looking at my gal? We're gonna have ourselves a Donnybrook.
Well, 23 skidoo.
We're back in the roaring 20s. That's what it is. Should get an eat, sleep, caps repeat. It's lost on me.
Eat, sleep, what repeat?
Caps?
Like caps as in CAPS?
In all caps. You lost me on that, Bobby. I do have a bunch of eat, sleep, blank, repeat things, and they really loved taking those down. So out of, I think, there's a white and a black variation for multiple different things, and maybe like 6 or so designs. You're thinking maybe 12 designs should be up on Redbubble and TeePublic, so about 24. There's maybe like 8 that are still up. They love taking those things down. There was like Eat, Sleep, Push Roman Reigns, repeat. Eat, Sleep, Walk with Elias, repeat. Eat, Sleep, Get These Hands, repeat.
Eat, Sleep, Threaten to go to UFC and leave, repeat.
Yeah, that one. Threaten to go to UFC and then come back and whatever and get more money. Like, it's some kind of weird thing like that. I think that there's maybe one left of the just Eat, Sleep, Repeat. Because I liked that one the best, but, they didn't like me having Suplex City things and stuff like that. Oh, the caps lock shouting things. Yeah, So,
Eat, Sleep, Repeat.
So it would be Eat, Sleep, Caps, Repeat. Because it's a, motherfucker, we're talking caps lock, whatever. Caps lock shouting. That might go into the Hall of Fame at some point for the jokes. Content schedule we broke down. We talked about this. Must be Monday. I'm forgetting about these. I did some plugs. I haven't done plenty of other different plugs. I'll do some more plugs later.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dude Felice.
There you go. There's another extra plug. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. And we're going to end this episode with the TNT Champion stuff, because that's very interesting. That'll keep people going a little bit forward. But let's talk Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about SmackDown, anything that's happened in these past couple of days that we kind of want to run down in that kind of capacity. Monday Night Raw tonight, again, the way that things have been normally going, not the biggest episode. It's, the go-home show for WrestleMania, but it's just not the type of thing that you can really get a whole lot going forward for it. We got like a lot of filler. We got some promos, and the promos were good. Edge did a great promo. Paul Heyman ended the night with a very good promo about how everybody is Brock Lesnar's bitch after they fight him at WrestleMania and everything. And we got a good promo from The Undertaker starting the show, talking about Alan Jones not wanting to come into WWE 15 years ago because he knew that he would not be able to stand toe-to-toe with the greats like Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold and Eddie Guerrero and so on and so forth. Becky Lynch cut a promo. This was awkward. So Becky starts a promo, and they had her come out with that big rig thing again.
Because it was just totally supposed to be in her WrestleMania entrance.
100%. And they were just like, well, let's milk this for whatever we can do. Hey, she's coming here again.
It's kind of lame for a WrestleMania entrance.
Because if she would have just driven that, they would have been like, look at this great big thing she's driving.
She's the man. She's driving a big rig. Yeah. That's a man's job. Not just any man. That's the man. That'd be very awkward.
Now, unless they would have had some kind of cool set to go along with it, like some good pyro or whatever, maybe that would have been different. But I'm not the biggest fan of somebody drives to the ring and that's it. Whether it's
when you pull the horn, it just like shoots fire out of the sky.
But she starts cutting a promo and she's like, hey, like she didn't say it like this because this is, my interpretation of what I had written down as blah, 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 where she goes, hey, like I got this match with Shayna Baszler and I beat Ronda Rousey. Take a look. And then they cut away for like 35 minutes for the replay of WrestleMania from last year. And then they come back and it's her. And she's like, so anyway, I'm going to beat Shayna Baszler because Baszler doesn't want to be in the shadow of Ronda Rousey anymore. That's why she needs to win. And she kind of told this idea of, Baszler said that if she loses at WrestleMania, then Becky Lynch is broken and destroyed and all this. But it's basically, no, if Baszler loses, she's the one who gets destroyed because this whole idea of breaking out of Ronda's shadow doesn't happen and she's back to being number 2. I kind of like the idea, didn't like the execution.
I that sums up how I feel about everything about WrestleMania this year. Good in theory, poor in execution.
Yeah. Ethan says, so it's a manliness thing, the big rig, you guys think? Oh, that was a failure of a sentence. Yeah. I know what you're getting from, that it was trying to be like, it's the man, and she's got this truck, and like,
Well, that's what I was trying to allude to. I'm not like legitimately saying, of course, that only a man could drive a big rig, but I feel like WWE would pitch it as, look, she's driving a big rig because she's the man. Yeah.
They should have, like they have like Joan Jett do Reputation last year. They should have DVDA, the guys, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, all those guys from South Park. They should have her entrance be, now you're the man, man. Now you're a man. You're a man.
You are now a man. You're a man.
Oh, I love that song so much. It's probably you do too.
That's right.
Love
Try
that.
not to say it, but yeah.
Or you know what? Even if they don't want to get something like that, they just have do what they did before, where mid entrance they cut. So you got Becky Lynch's theme, so it's like whoa, and then you hear, "She's the man,
Such
the
a
man."
What a man!
She's
a real man.
Then back to whoa. Match wise for this episode of Raw, outside of the fact that we got another replay of Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio from Survivor Series, we got.
Real quick, did that Joker look warm up to you at all?
No, that still looks awful.
Okay.
It's the nose. That's what throws me off even more.
You know what was great? Fightful tweeted this. Dominic got more offense in on Brock Lesnar than Ricochet.
That's true. That's pretty bad. I didn't think about that. We got Aleister Black destroying Jason Cade by pinfall. And Kevin Owens and the Street Profits were supposed to go up against Seth Rollins, Andrade, and Angel Garza. But that was when Zelina Vega did her announcement that Angel Garza is not going to be joined by Andrade at WrestleMania or on this match itself because Andrade is injured. And it's supposedly a legit injury. It's not that they're covering up a sickness thing.
It's his ribs, supposedly.
Yeah, so, they've done in the past where they've said people are injured when they're suspended or when, whatever's happened. This seems like that's actually an injury. But in this match and for WrestleMania, he's replaced by Austin Theory. And their justification, which I was wondering when I heard about all this, I was like, how are they going to replace him with Austin Theory? Was Zelina going, and I replaced him with Austin Theory. I was like, all right, well, they're just not going to explain it. Just
Zelina Vega is quickly becoming the Ellis Island of the WWE. Give us your tired, your random, and your and I will fucking manage them.
You're tired, you're poor, you're 22-year-olds.
Angel Garza got a fast track to Raw. I gotta imagine Austin Theory gets fast track to Raw, and I have to imagine Austin Theory keeps Zelina Vega. And I think that's a hell of a pairing. I like this move. I think this move is the kind of move that will allow us to look back at this time and maybe potentially say, wow, if it wasn't for that, we would have never had Austin Theory.
See, I don't think that that's going to continue, but I'll talk more about that in the predictions. At the very least on this, it was a 6-man tag, and Kevin Owens and the Street Profits win. Rollins attacks Owens afterward, and Owens cuts another promo. And I thought that they were leading in the direction of, we're having just a normal match or whatever, but I'm going to fight you in a whatever match. And they didn't. It was just like, but I'm going to beat you. I was disappointed in that. Asuka beat Kaden Carter. Kaden Carter's been wrestling all over the place. And that got me thinking, between that and Austin Theory, kind of what you were saying a couple seconds ago, I wonder how many people that were doing these shows, how much goodwill they're going to keep going forward. Because Austin Theory's young. He can go through 5 years of NXT before coming up to the main roster and having a 15-year run, if not longer. He's already good. So he could go up to Raw and just learn on Raw, too. Kaden Carter is not as seasoned as Austin Theory in the ring yet, but she's good. I'm liking her. And she's been wrestling a lot. And I'm curious if something like that is going to go really far with, like, Vince seeing Austin Theory and going, this kid's a good-looking kid. He's young. He's whatever. We're going to strap the rocket to him. And Kaden Carter could be the type of thing that whether it's Vince or it's Triple H or whoever would be like, she stuck her neck out and she delivered when we needed somebody, and let's give her a push in NXT, you know?
So Kaden Carter was trained by the Dudley Boys.
Huh.
Austin Theory was the Evolve champion last year. Evolve, of course, headed by Paul Heyman's protege, Gabe Sapolsky. I don't think it's coincidence that these other guys getting plucked.
Why? Do you think that they specifically like went with
I
them?
think Heyman specifically picked them. Dudley Boys and Austin Theory has the Evolve experience. I think Heyman sees a lot in Theory. I think if he has his way, Theory stays on Raw.
If that happens, I apologize for all the future. Now, in theory, things that I'm gonna
do. That's not just a theory.
That's a hypothesis.
Austin hypothesis.
It's like, oh, he hit it with the scientific method.
It's the conclusion. The conclusion.
That's Monday Night Raw. I mean, it's promos and 3 matches.
Hold on. Let's get into the Edge promo a little bit, and let's get into the Undertaker promo, because Edge cut another fantastic promo because he's the man. Basically said, Randy Orton needs him around. He makes Randy Orton better. He questioned Randy Orton's logic for accepting a last man standing match with somebody who will jump face first into fire, calling back to that Mick Foley spot at WrestleMania 22. I thought this was a fantastic promo from Edge.
Yeah, I loved it.
And Undertaker basically calling AJ Styles out for, first of all, taking 15 years to come to WWE, and then basically says, my wife got your finisher over. Sorry, pal.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good time. That's the Undertaker I've been waiting for in this rivalry, since AJ wanted to make it so personal. But the takeaway from this is that it's a boneyard match. They're going to fight in a boneyard, which is a graveyard, which they just didn't want to say. And Taker said, bring those 2 ass clowns with you, referring to Gallows and Anderson, because I'm going to unleash the unholy trinity. Do you think Undertaker's bringing Kane and another person to WrestleMania?
I mean, who would the other person be, though?
Big Show.
Yeah, I think it's just metaphor.
Big Show.
Because Big Show, he was a tag team partner and all that, but he wasn't like this dark kind of thing.
Well.
And I mean, he's going to be having, here's my TV show where I get like sprayed in the face with whipped cream and all that. And that wouldn't work. I think it's just a matter of I'm bringing the unholy trinity, all the demons that back me up are fucking you up and whatever, that kind of thing. But he was very much American Badass here.
I enjoyed it. Makes perfect sense for this rivalry, for him to be that guy.
It does, and it's a shame that it's still happening in a boneyard and it's not happening in front of other people, and
Tony, to speak so ill of those skeletons and say they're not people.
This could be one of those things too, like what's going to be better? Is it going to be the Firefly Funhouse or is it going to be the Boneyard? Both could be really great, and both could be the cringiest things. Because if they're set looks awful, man, is that gonna suck, you know?
I think that's how the Boneyard match works. I think it's easier to stage a gravesite than it is to make you believe that the Firefly Funhouse is an actual place that doesn't just exist in the nether regions of the mind of Bray Wyatt, but it exists in the real world.
The nether regions of the mind.
Yeah. You said Donnybrook on this show. I could say nether regions.
I'm just thinking, like, in his mind, it's like his, get your mind out of the gutter. The nether regions of his mind. He's got that crotch brain.
He does. He's got crotch brain, and it's rotted. It's crotch rot brain.
I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about this more when it comes to WrestleMania stuff. I'm curious about how they do these things, and obviously we'll do our post-show stuff when it comes to that, but that's the WWE related material. We do have something that's AEW related. It's actually a pretty big deal. They announced that there's going to be an 8-man tournament starting April 8th that will crown another new champion. And this is going to be called the TNT Championship. They haven't said who's going to be on it. We're going to we're going to speculate on that because they're going to do the first half tomorrow. The second half is going to be announced on Dynamite. And before we even have any idea, we're going to try to give our predictions on that. But before we talk about that, I'm going to toss another plug out there. You are listening to us live or you're listening to us afterward. And if you want us to do more live things and if you want us to do more weird and oddball things, best way for us to do that is for you to donate to the Patreon. Now it's $1 and up. $1 goes a long, long way. And $5 is an ad block forgiveness type of thing. $10 it gives you access to dark casts. And those are Patreon exclusive things. And we may do Patreon exclusive video content. Now that I've got the live stream stuff a little bit figured out, we might do more of that. So that might be something to be aware of, take note of for the future. And there's also the mailbag priority. So if we do the mailbag in some kind of live format, that kind of doesn't really work the same kind of way. But on the months that we're not doing the quarterly mailbags, if you want to take advantage of mailbag type stuff, then take advantage of that. There's also the Pick Your Poison tier. And now that we've gotten the live stuff somewhat figured out, another option for the Pick Your Poison tier, if you have the spare change and you donate to that and you want us to do things, is to do a live thing on things if we get a chance to do it and you donate. So that applies to not only Smark Out Moment, but also Fanboys Anonymous. And fanboysanonymous.com, if you are unaware, is where we do things with the geek culture spectrum. So there's movie talk, which there's not a whole lot of movies coming out now, but we'll talk about that in a second.
There's a whole lot of movies hitting video on demand.
There's TV discussion. There's stuff about just the superhero genre. There's stuff about, Mount Rushmore of 90s commercials. I don't know, like lots of different things that are really cool. So I don't want to make any promises, but I've been giving it a lot of thought. And the more people that show up to the live things, especially if people are generous enough to do like super chats or donate to the Patreon or anything like that, the more of these things that are going forward, the more content that over this next month in particular, after WrestleMania is done, we might do a whole lot of random stuff for Fanboys and for Smark Out Moment. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I got a lot of ideas I'm trying to cook up. I got a lot that I need to talk to everybody else about. I got some graphics I need to make up. Stay tuned.
Well, who is this everybody else? Are you cheating on me, sir?
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. One discussion I had today was, how can I get Caroline on more of these?
I like it.
So, that's something that might be in the works too. There might be my project that I was trying to figure out with Caroline. I might get that working. It's a separate project on top of this that I bought the domain for and everything. Just pay attention. Stay tuned to A Mango Tree. Stay tuned to Smark Out Moment. Stay tuned to Fanboys Anonymous. Me on Facebook and Twitter at Tony Mango. Facebook group, the Mega Maniacs, all that stuff. We might do some weird stuff coming up if we are, especially in a time frame where WWE is like, well, we can't film anything, so every Raw and NXT and SmackDown and 205 Live is all going to be recap stuff. I won't have anything to report on. Then I'm going to start going a little stir crazy, and you're going to start seeing things that are going to be like, if I went from working almost 24/7 for like a decade to not having much to do, imagine the weird stuff I'm going to end up coming up with.
Yeah, you're gonna wake me up in the middle of the night. I had an idea. I wrote down 50 new stories in my Batman blueprint.
Right. I might read part of my Batman blueprint. I don't know. Like, there's just, lots of different things. I might make a fucking, graphic kind of thing of Rey Mysterio's box. I don't know. Box of cereal with that. Maybe I'll try to market that or something. I don't know. But stay tuned for that. Hit up the Patreon if you've got the spare change. If you don't, I completely understand, especially nowadays with everything going on like that. But any support that you guys show us is awesome. And if you keep checking out on Fanboys and on Smark Out Moment for all future things that we do, then, hey, you'll be aware of things when they happen. Let's go back to the TNT thing. First things first, before we talk about the people, what do you think about the name?
This is the vibe I get. They wanted to call it the Television Championship. However, the National Wrestling Alliance revealed their reboot of the Television Championship. And they decided, well, then I guess we can't go with that. We'll call it the TNT title as a goodwill gesture towards our business partner. And also, it's a unique name for a belt.
I immediately disliked it. And in the span of the time that you had told me, which was right around like before Raw had started, I think, and maybe an hour or so ago, whatever it is, I've grown to actually love it. There's something about it that I didn't realize at first. And then once I came around to that realization, I was like, oh, wait. The TNT Championship doesn't have to be on TNT. The show is called Dynamite. Now, we've all known the whole connection between TNT and Dynamite and like that. But if they were to move to TBS, it could still be the TNT Champion because it's just Dynamite. I'm like, that's a
Tony Mango with his brain working on deeper levels.
Right now, you can't see, but I'm doing that GIF with the guy pointing at his head.
Oh, the guy pointing at his brain? Nice.
I'm like, I hope that they were smart enough to do that, and it's not just me telling them something, and then later on somebody else in the management that picked that name will go, oh yeah, like I'm assuming that they were smart enough to catch that, and it took me a little bit and stuff, but I'm like, you know what? I love that idea because then they can have that be the TNT champion and you can almost refer to it as a television champion, but it doesn't have to be defended only on television. It is something that's not like national based. So it's not like the United States champion or the American champion or whatever like that, which that never stood a whole lot of sense to me. It never made a whole lot of sense, I should say, not stood. Because then it's like, well, we've got this guy from Mexico who lives in Canada and he's the United States champion. And he's the United States champion defending it in the NXT UK. And you're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, that's obviously not what's happening right now, but like that kind of stuff happens every once in a while. And that just doesn't make any sense. And then you've got like the world heavyweight champion. Well, if you got a guy who's 130 pounds, he shouldn't be the world heavyweight champion if the regular heavyweights are 250 or something, like. So I don't like the weight class thing either. TNT champion, it could be anything. It's just going to be a mid-card title. I love it. And we haven't seen the design yet. They did write on the thing red strap. I don't know if that's a joke or if that's...
You don't like red straps.
I don't, but with the TNT thing, red is what like cartoon sticks of dynamite look like. So that might not look bad. I don't like the women's championship in AEW. I don't like the different colored things in WWE, but without seeing it, it could be great or it could be awful. And the name, I warmed up to it very quickly after I thought about that, because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's the explosive type of title. Like, you never know what's going to happen with the TNT Championship. Like, smart. I'm digging it.
I really like that you put that together. You made me warm up to it even more.
Yeah. There you go. I almost said, there you go, TNA. Oh, God, I'm going to make that mistake. The AEW, TNT, TNA, whatever. So we don't know the 8 people that are competing in this. We do know it's supposed to start April 8th. Now, they might not be able to necessarily do that, depending on whole filming types of things and stuff, but what the hell? Let's speculate. It's, I'm assuming, going to be men. And not
They confirmed that already.
Okay, so that rules out, like, Sadie Gibbs isn't going to win it. Yeah, look at the big brain on Tony. Now I want a big kahuna burger. I've not had a burger with a slice of pineapple on it, and I should, because I like pineapple.
That's probably really good. It's probably really good.
Next time I go to Red Robin, when things open up in 2024, and I can eat a burger and go outside. Oh,
if pineapple still exists by then.
I need to take some vitamin D in a little bit.
I thought you were cracking your back.
Nah, that's the sound.
Oh boy.
And then there's my fingers.
Yeah. I heard the fingers.
So let's talk about some different people that could be in the mix for this. I'm going to get, as if I don't have enough tabs open already, I'm going to get a little note thing going on here of people that could be good options for this. So I apologize if there's anything in the chat that I don't see. I'm going to move this over to, it's a good thing that I have 2 screens, because I really could use 5 right now. I'm going to go down the roster here. I think alphabetical order, Adam Page gets a thumbs up for me, at least to be in the tournament, if not win.
I'm going to go thumbs down. He's already TV champion, and he's already had a shot at the world title.
Alex Reynolds, thumbs down.
Yeah, same for me.
And Helico, thumbs down.
Correct.
Anthony Ogogo, he can go away, because he's not getting into this. He's not wrestling at all.
Congratulations. Great fun.
Very much Office Space inspired with the Naga, not gonna work here, whatever. I apologize for all the future Anthony Ogogo jokes that I will make, because that's funny, and I'm going to make that over and over and over again.
Wake me up before you go. Yeah.
Austin Gunn, I'd say no, but I wouldn't be opposed to him being in the tournament.
I'm going to put a pin in Austin Gunn.
If you take the pin out, is that called removing the safety?
Yes.
My brain's working kind of today. I like this. Billy Gunn, I would say no to.
Correct.
Nobody would believe that he would win. So, why bother? The Butcher and the Blade, nope. They're a tag team.
Correct.
Brandon Cutler, no. I like Brandon Cutler. Like, he seems like a cool dude.
He's a nice guy.
But
he's a swell guy.
He and Peter Avalon have the worst records. And if you put him in the tournament, unless you did some kind of thing where out of nowhere he ended up winning a whole lot, then no. Brody Lee, that's a little tough, because I don't think that they should have the Exalted One be the mid-card champion. But do they go straight into this being the mid-card championship, or do they give it to somebody who seems like a main eventer, and then eventually it just slowly becomes the mid-card champion?
I think you have to play this safe. So, no, you have to go straight into it being your mid-card belt. Well, except for one exception, which I'll get to.
Well, see, like Brody Lee, I feel like if he's in the tournament, he has to win it. And that's where that kind of comes in. Chris Jericho is tough. I could totally see them having him in this, and maybe even having him go to the finals and lose to somebody. I just took a breath in the middle of a breath. Oh my God, that didn't work out all that well.
Oof.
At least I'm not like choking to death here. The Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, the three from SCU, I don't think should be in it. But if anybody should be, I think it should be Scorpio.
I think Daniels is in it.
Any particular reason why?
Because he's kind of been designated as the odd man out, as Scorp and Frankie have been a tag team. So if Brody Lee is in it, he'll face Daniels in round 1 and beat him.
Chuck Taylor, no.
Correct.
Shima, no.
Correct.
Cody.
Yep.
He is not supposed to be able to challenge for the AEW championship, but there's nothing at all that says he can't for the TNT. And he is very, very close to my pick of who should win.
So the only way I see this happening is if the guy he fights in round 1 is MJF. Or in the finals. But if he's in this thing, he has to fight MJF.
I would hope so. Colt Cabana, I would put in.
Yes.
I would not give him the championship, but I would put him in the mix. And maybe have him lose to somebody and start a feud out of that.
In my opinion, he would be in against a guy who we're going to name a little bit later on.
Darby Allin is a definite for me.
He's in there. He's in there, and he's going to the finals.
He is a potential winner. Dustin Rhodes, I would say no.
Yeah, I would put him in as a maybe, but largely leaning towards no.
Evil Uno, I would say no.
Evil Ooh, no.
Yeah. Isaiah Cassidy, for that matter, Private Party, yeah. Both members of Private Party, I would say no.
Correct.
Jack Evans, a no. Jake Hager,
No.
I would say no to.
No, he's fighting Moxley for the belt.
Yeah, but if they were to go in a different direction for Moxley, then I'd be okay with it, because it would kind of depend. Jimmy Havoc, I say yeah. Put him in the tournament. Don't give him the title.
Maybe. I'll say why I say maybe in a little bit.
Joey Janela, I say put him in the tournament.
Absolutely.
John Silver, no.
No.
John Moxley, of course not. Jungle Boy, I'd put him in there.
Oh, shit! I had my 8 people picked out, but Jungle Boy, ooh, yeah, I think he should be in there.
Kenny Omega, I think should.
No, well, it depends on how big do you want to go here.
I want to go big and potentially go smaller after that point, rather than start small and try to work up. I haven't picked my 8. That's kind of what we're doing here, but that's in my mind. So I say yay for Kenny Omega, at least for right now. I give a thumbs up to Kip Sabian.
Yep.
I give a thumbs up to Lance Archer.
It's tough. Ooh, they have a lot more than I thought.
I give a thumbs up to Luchasaurus.
No, not only one member of Jurassic Express, and I think it should be Jungle Boy.
Here's a good joke. I say thumbs up for Luther. You're right. Absolutely not.
Listen, Dr. Luther, Japanese deathmatch legend now.
I'm gonna give a no to Marco Stunt.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
I'd give a no to the Young Bucks.
I think that's more than fair.
I'd give a no to Matt Hardy.
I think that's more than fair.
I'm going to go no with Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah.
Yes for MJF.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. I mean, when I pick my 8, I might kind of get rid of that, but I'm not sure about Orange Cassidy. I'd lean more towards no, but it kind of depends.
I think the people want it.
He's one of those that, like, I could see it, but at the same time, I could see why not. Ortiz and Santana, I'd say no.
Obviously not. Anybody who's in a tag team, I think doesn't belong here.
For the most part, me too. For that matter, too, the Lucha Bros, no. But I would put Pac in there.
Yeah.
There's absolutely
100%.
no way at all I'd put Peter Avalon or QT Marshall in here.
I would 100% put none of the librarians, not obviously QT Marshall, but I think Pac is a strong case to win the whole thing.
Sammy Guevara is a definite.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Sean Spears, I'd give a yes to.
Yeah.
Sonny Kiss, I'd say no, not to like disparage Sonny Kiss, but just because there's more important people. I know for a fact I wouldn't pick Sonny Kiss as part of the 8. I'm already at 21 names, so Sonny Kiss doesn't beat those people out.
No for Sonny. I think Sonny will get somewhere eventually, though.
And I'd say no to Stu Grayson, Trent, and Wardlow.
Why not Wardlow?
I feel like if anybody of those two should be in it would be MJF. I think Wardlow is kind of better used as just like the bodyguard for right now and not wrestling as much. Let me move my
You
stuff.
didn't say somebody.
Who?
Sammy Guevara.
No, I just did. He's a definite.
Okay, I didn't hear you say that because I was surprised that we didn't.
Nah, he's
he's
definite.
He's got to be in there and maybe win the damn thing.
So I currently, if I remove Austin Gunn, now that I see that he was on there, I've got way more than these 8.
I'm taking the safety off.
Yeah, I've got 19 people that I would pick 8 for. So I got to cut this way more, at least in half, just to get to a point where I'm going anywhere with it. So I would say I'm going to take Brody Lee. I'm going to actually, we're going to do this as an impromptu type of thing. I'm going to put this in the chat, and that did not type out the way that I thought that it was going to. So that's a mess for anybody. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to give it to you in our Skype chat while we're doing this. You can see what my list looks like here that I'm working with. And we're gonna do this as a live type thing. Yeah, Bobby's responded to that thing of just damn. Yeah, it's like, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm removing on my list. I'm taking Brody Lee out. That's a little too hard.
Okay.
I'm taking Orange Cassidy out because he wouldn't win, and it would just kind of be weird. There's other people that can fill in that role. I'm taking Luchasaurus out because I think Jungle Boy's better to track. Luchasaurus is more of an attraction. So that's a little easier. Taking Jake Hager out because he's going to fight Moxley. So I'm down to 15. So I need to knock 7 out. Live podcast. I think ultimately I would take out Jericho.
Yes, that's correct. That's a fair move.
I think since they are tag team champions, I'd take out Adam Page and Kenny Omega.
Correct.
Because Omega is also the AAA mega champion, so he doesn't need to carry 2 belts into a tournament that he's not going to win. Nobody would think that he would win. So now I only got to knock out 1, 2, 3, 4 more people, and that's not too bad out of a list. Out of that 4, MJF won that diamond ring. I'm going to take him out. And, wow, that's
I have my 8.
I got 11 that I'm stuck on. So who are your 8?
My 8, in no particular order, are Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Pac, Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, Sean Spears, Kip Sabian, and Joey Janela.
So you got Orange Cassidy, and the different ones that I have in there that you don't are Cody, Colt Cabana, Jimmy Havoc, Lance Archer. Because I have a couple more people that I need to get rid of. So I guess by that rationale of me saying, oh, if Brody Lee wins, then he's got whatever, I'm going to take Lance Archer out because I don't think that he's going to be the TNT champion. Maybe by that rationale, I can knock out Cody, even though Cody was actually the guy that I was thinking could be the best option to win.
I kind of agree with that, even though I don't have him on my 8. The reason I don't have him on is because I have to assume that these matches will get a little bit of play on Dark.
Kind of depends on how much they're planning on airing.
I don't know. Listen, let's be transparent here. They also released a press release that says the winner will be in Double or Nothing in Vegas.
Yeah. So I don't think that if that's the case, at least their plan right now, which plans could change, I would assume if Double or Nothing goes down, Cody versus Lance Archer is happening there, not the finals of this tournament. So I'm going to take them out. And that leaves me at 9. I got to take one more person out. Who do I take out? Because I got Colt Cabana, Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc, Joey Janela, Jungle Boy, Kip Sabian, Pac, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears. At that point, I think I'd have to take out one of the heels because I'm a little heel heavy.
Maybe take out Spears, but even though he's on my list, he is doing a tag team gimmick.
Yeah, he's looking for a tag team partner. Yeah, take out Spears. That gets 4 heels and 4 baby faces. So Bobby's team, his bracket setup is Darby Allin, Cassidy, MJF, Cody, Sammy, Spears, Jungle Boy, and Pac. That's pretty close. We got a lot of the people going with the same sort of thing. My group would be Colt, Darby, Havoc, Janela, Jungle Boy, Sabian, Pac, and Guevara. And out of that mix, I know for a fact I would not pick, for instance, I wouldn't go with Colt Cabana as the champion. I wouldn't go with Jimmy Havoc. I wouldn't go with Joey Janela. I wouldn't go with Jungle Boy. And I wouldn't go with Kip Sabian. So my only picks would be Darby Allin, Pac, or Guevara. And I think when push comes to shove, I think I'd go Sammy Guevara.
Now, of the 8 names I have here, reminder, I have Janela, Sabian, Spears, Jungle Boy, Cassidy, Pac, Guevara, and Allin. Allin, I have in the finals, mentally.
Allin.
I
don't know why that popped in my mind.
Oh my god. Yeah, Allin is in the finals for me. And I'm going to say he's in the finals with Pac. And I think Allin ekes it out and gets the first ever championship.
But the fact that Allin and Guevara have had some good stuff, and yeah, it's still stuck in my head too. I know one movie I'm not going to be watching if I'm on the quarantine thing is I'm not watching Jurassic Park 3, that's for sure. Bobby says going with Darby would be his pick, and he was leaning towards Pac as well. Ethan tosses out Darby. Now they're catching up to the Allin joke. See, Darby to me, you can't go wrong with giving Darby Allin a championship and having him be somebody to focus on. Darby Allin's somebody who's gotten over with the crowd, especially if you make this because they didn't say this either. This could be their hardcore championship. The TNT title could be like hardcore matches. That could suit Darby Allin.
Know. I assume that it wouldn't be.
It probably wouldn't be. But it could be.
But it could be if it's Darby Allin.
Yeah, and if it's Darby Allin, it doesn't need to be a hardcore title. He'll make it a hardcore title anyway. So I feel like you can't go wrong if you go with any of the people that most of us have been picking. I think it would be a mistake if you went with, say, Jungle Boy, because he has more of a tag team act. But if you give it to Pac, awesome. Death Triangle has a champion history. Heel leader.
That's my personal opinion. I think they're a little heel heavy. They always, Jericho got the first, world title, and MJF hasn't lost yet. I'd like to see a young babyface get a nice spot. I would totally give it to Allin. I think if you give it to Cassidy, people love Orange Cassidy and they're so stoked on him just like winning all these matches on fluke. But I don't want to see Orange Cassidy with the title right now.
I think stoked is a great word to use for Orange Cassidy. That seems like that fits.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally stoked to watch Orange Cassidy. He's the man.
Even though like Orange Cassidy doesn't give off any vibes of being stoked, the people get stoked
Mm-hmm.
when they see Orange Cassidy.
I still think that we could do this game all day of the whole, like, if you could tell me from whatever time frame that this is whatever is happening, then I wouldn't believe you. We talked about that before, but the whole, like, if you could show 8-year-old me Infinity War, I'd shit my pants. But like, like if you told me a year before All In that I'd be watching a guy that does the act that Orange Cassidy does, and that he would immediately be one of my favorite people in this alternative world WCW type of thing, I'd be like, you got to be kidding me. I'm liking the guy that just does nothing but barely puts up a thumbs up and, you know, does these little kicks. That seems ridiculous. And instead, I'm like 2 seconds into watching the guy, and I'm like, this guy's amazing. I love him. So if they were to give the title to Orange Cassidy, I'd be like, great. You know, I don't think I would do that if I were booking things, but it's Orange Cassidy. He's great. So
I think there is a shelf life. These oranges will go rotten. And I think if you try to put a belt on them and base a whole division around them, it's not going to be good. I think it's got to be, the more I say it, Darby, Jungle Boy, Pac, even Janela. Like, I can fully acknowledge that Janela on AEW television isn't much of anything, but he's always going to have that rabid following that I think you can build around.
if they gave him enough of a push, I could see Janela being a good final person for Guevara to beat.
Okay, so if we're talking finals, I definitely think it's Darby and Guevara or Darby and Pac. I think Darby is he's such a good babyface. Like, I immediately get Jeff Hardy vibes from this guy. Like, the chicks love him. I feel like they're gonna love him even when they're middle aged, just like they do Jeff Hardy. Dudes want to be like him. Kids are painting their face like him. Cody, did you listen to Cody on commentary on Wednesday?
No, not really.
Like, you really should. He threw out so many WCW references that at some point you're like, oh man, dude, we get it. You're Dusty's kid. Like, immediately he's like, oh, doesn't Darby remind you of Sting? Like, you see all the little stingers painting their face. Doesn't Darby remind you of that? Hey, isn't Penelope Ford like a baby doll junior? You know, it's like, wow, this guy with the references. But yeah, I think Darby is the guy.
Can't go wrong with Darby. And of course, tomorrow we're going to know more information, because at that point they're going to be able to actually tell us some of the people that are involved in this. I don't know if they're going to reveal like the top part of the bracket, or if they're going to reveal kind of like the top part of each match, or like how they're going to do that.
They're revealing the first half of the bracket.
Okay. So we'll see how that goes. That'll give us a good indication of at least somebody who could potentially go to the finals. Because if we get
Let's see if I can talk Tony into doing a dark cast on Wednesday night where we review like the bracket and just like that night of wrestling in general.
We might. Kind of depends on how crazy everything is. Wednesday we're getting TakeOver to a certain extent. It's not happening the way that TakeOver was supposed to happen, but for anybody that was interested in the triple threat match for the North American Championship, we're getting that. We're getting the second chance gauntlet match to determine who's the final participant in that ladder match, number one contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship match. match. And if that's all out of the mix, Darkcast, yeah, we'll do a Darkcast based off of that. Or maybe we'll do one like Thursday afternoon or something, I don't know.
Nice.
I'm going to say now, I mean, I'm going to probably change my mind based off of the announcements tomorrow and Wednesday. I might write up an article about this, and if I do that, I might talk myself out of certain things, but I would say right now, I would lean more towards Pac winning than anybody, and Guevara being my number 2, but Allen would be my number 3, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if they gave it to Colt Cabana, or if they gave it to
Ugh.
Cody, or if,
I
you
would
know,
totally be down for Cody. But I feel like if Cody did the thing where he, as a goodwill gesture, uh, said, I'm not going to do the world title. I won't be world champion. But then goes, here's a new belt and I'm winning it right away.
yeah.
It's a weird vibe.
Yeah. So I don't really expect that to happen, but it could. And I guess when we get some information tomorrow, maybe they'll show us what the title looks like. Maybe they won't. And if they
They're
do,
going to hold out until the pay-per-view like they always do.
either that or maybe they'll wait until the matches start. I don't know. When they do, we'll talk about the title itself, like the belt. And when we see what's happening with everything else that's happening with this tournament, then hey, then we'll get that going too. Hot tags.
I feel like you ran out of steam there.
Hot tags, if it's the dark cast things, if it's some special thing, if it's maybe we'll do another live kind of thing, and maybe we'll just talk about it there, that kind of thing. I don't know. Pick your poison. You could always do that. You could always just be like, talk about it right now. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if the super chats are available.
Yep. So that is all the stuff that I had written down for the hot tags. I don't think there's really anything else going on.
Teddy Hart's in jail again. Very sad situation. Won't go too deep into it. Just want you to know that we're not ignoring it. It's just, he's a bit of a scumbag. What can you do?
That's a shame. And I think that there's really nothing else to talk about other than that then. So I did most of my plugs. If I didn't, you should know them by now. And if you don't, you're going to hear them a couple other times this week too.
And the people that are in the live chat should. If you're new to it, he's at Toe Knee Man Go on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Smark, follow Fanboys Anonymous. Follow my other sites. They're not mine. I don't own them. Otherwise, I'd be rich. WrestleZone and Fightful. Check me out there. I did like 20 posts this weekend alone on Fightful. I was alone this weekend on Fightful. So if you clicked on Fightful this weekend, you clicked on me, and I thank you for it.
That's right. Bobby brought up the idea that Ambrose was on Backstage.
Oh, man, so much fun.
Yeah, so that he popped up and did that. I thought that was funny. I didn't watch that episode of Backstage yet, though. And I didn't listen to the full New Day podcast, but I do know that Big E had some funny stuff talking about just throw him in a ditch when he's done and some different things like that. So I'll check that stuff out when I can, and I'll, hopefully check out all these other things happening WrestleMania week, and we'll talk about all those things and more next time. But the next time you guys are going to be hearing from us, outside of any potential dark casts or live bonus cast things or something, will be the WrestleMania predictions. Normally, we would be in a situation where we would go, well, should we do the NXT predictions? And then should we do this? And should we do that? Whatever. Well, we're going to do the WrestleMania predictions most likely Wednesday afternoon. I doubt that we're going to do them live. We might. Kind of depends. But if we do, make sure you hit that little notification bell and subscribe on YouTube. That way you know when we go live. But if not, if you do have that little bell checked off, you'll know when we post the video. And if you're listening to us not live right now, which I'm hoping plenty of you are, then that's going to be the type of thing that you'll listen to it, whatever platform you're listening to it. Come around to it when you can. Drop your comments. Tell us all the predictions that you're going to go down with. We will talk some spoilers when it comes to that, but we don't know exactly what happened with a lot of things, so we're not going to say like, oh, it turns out that this title changed hands, because we don't know. At least we don't know right now. I don't know if we will. If we will, I'll give you spoiler warnings. Don't worry about that. You don't have to avoid that video. But that's the game plan, is to do that. And then later on this week, Saturday night, Sunday night, 2 episodes of WrestleMania, part 1 and part 2. They're both going to have post shows. And I'm hoping that the post shows can be live. So stay tuned for that too.
Yay.
Other than that, I think we're done. I don't know how I'm going to hit end on all the things that I'm ending, but I'm going to have to figure that out at some point because we're going to have to do that in the future. So I will say at the very least, depending on if this recording cuts off the way that it should, thank you for listening to this, everybody. We will see you next time. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.